Defense looks good. Offensive rotation looks good. Still, the only mistake or inconsistency is this hold pressure as a third man into defensive rotation. It's like this sort of transition zone. I gave shadow defense as the actual like mechanic or play. So we do, right? This is that moment. It's not because you're out of position or whatever. This is just what happens as a third. So we do. We need to start letting this ball roll back or catching it for this play, catching it on our car, dribbling it up the wall. Here's the options, man. All right, so let's get started. We got Zur. This is champ 1, champ 2. All right. 2 or 1 mechanical thing breaking down already, Zur, that ties into your playstyle. Zur, you are a second, third man, mostly third. You hold pressure nicely, but what happens in Rocket League is you hold pressure, and sometimes the player beats you, which happens. That's not because you're bad, but what you're reading didn't happen, and now you have to play defense. And it's taking, I almost want to call this a shadow defense challenge option. Really, it's option. It's not always cut or 50 or hit up wall or let it roll back. Like, that's the decision-making tree. This is the decision, but you have all of these options. And this single decision is what's breaking down. Specifically, it's your 50 and grounder. But, like, that's not the best 50. That could lead into a goal. You are a third man. That could be a goal in your net right now. And then it happens right here as well. This sort of shadow defense. We want to hit this up the wall, or you could always let it roll back to your corner. Maybe that's an option we don't consider. And then it looks like mechs are breaking down. It looks like other parts of the play are breaking down. So I want to take a look at that because that kind of builds on your play style of being a third man. So many ways this could break down. Maybe we're pressing too hard. Maybe we're not reading the situation properly. Maybe it's mechanics at an angle, aka shadow defense. Maybe it's the cut, the 50, letting it roll back. Maybe that's just not an option we don't consider. And then maybe that's rooted in the fact that, oh no, don't want to let this roll back and go to control, break down, and get scored on. Maybe we're afraid to play defense or uncomfortable. So I'm going to look at that. I don't think you're afraid to play defense or uncomfortable because even that backboard challenge looked good. I think it's the options where it's not always 50, it's not always cut, it's not always grounder, it's not always let it roll back. Like, I think you should try these different options, all of them. And for this rank with champ, I would let it roll back. I would let this go all the way back. Get your boost. Someone's going to ego you or be afraid to challenge. You either get your space or you 50. And this play is going to bait in all of these players. It's funny how like all these guys are back. Like, why are they back? I don't know. But what happens in champ is these players get baited up and then either you beat or 50 and then you quickly counterattack. I would let this ball roll back and you could even take it around town. I think that's an option we need to consider. Good job looking for demo. Good. Close. Good. Good. Do it. Wow. We'll take it. Just a little bit of control and you score. Nothing pretty. Every controlled touch puts pressure on the opponents. I will say, sir, this is a huge improvement from last week. Nice try. Defense looks good. Offensive rotation looks good. Still, the only mistake or inconsistency is this hold pressure as a third man into defensive rotation. It's like this sort of transition zone. I gave shadow defense as the actual like mechanic or play. So we do, right? This is that moment. It's not because you're out of position or whatever. This is just what happens as a third. So we do. We need to start letting this ball roll back or catching it for this play, catching it on our car, dribbling it up the wall. Here's the options, man. And hopefully we'll get a couple more examples. Cut into grounder up sidewall. Catch or 50. Let it roll back. Drift, turn. Not just for this play, but like for other plays. Maybe that doesn't work in this play. Catch on car. Up the wall. Grounder into boost control. Into wall transition. Tons of options. I think you get like narrowly focused on, oh, gotta save it. Gotta hit it. But that creates more stress, I promise you. Very good. Good recovery. Very good. Yeah, defense and offense look great. All right. Let's see if we get into that situation again. Good. Maybe we... I mean, I think it's all those options. Like, what you could do is play a lot of 2s and 1s because you'll be in those options more. You could also just look for them in 3s. But also, I think this, like, grounder up the wall focus, I love working that concept with champs, whether it's, you know, cuts on offense up the wall, in the midfield, on defense up the wall, on goal line save up the wall, or for you specifically right now, that shadow defense grounder up the wall. I think we need to work on that because number one, it gets us on the wall more, which then number two gets us in the air more. That's what we want. That's look at Grand Champ gameplay versus Champ gameplay. Grand Champ's in the air more, pretty defining. But like, look at this play right here. Try to like hit a grounder up the wall right now so that you could follow, not score, but then control up the wall. And when you control up the wall in the corner, this is not like the only piece of game sense. Like, let's say you control that up the wall, then this player might leave the goal line to challenge you. You're not going to score from it, but you're letting them give up the goal. Maybe this player bumps, right? Up the wall. Up the wall. Good demo. Look, what this player did, man. I think this was a catch. Catch into wall. And you're as good as this player. Look at that. Practice that. You could do it with the Bacchus mod training tool where you send that, I think it's down on the D-pad. I forget which one it is, but when it ricochets at you, and you could practice catches. Or you could do the same thing like in the midfield, have it ricochet at you and practice like hitting it up the wall. Like the Bacchus mod free play tool or like Rocket League's in-game free play tool is super useful. Good. Bar down. So what I kind of want to do is this like kind of third man into shadow defense options. Fakes, shadow, cut up the wall, 50 up the wall, bring it back, catch, grounder up the wall, right? All those options I highlighted. But then an all-purpose kind of grounder up the wall focus. Because I know the next step for you is get on the wall more. A lot of different ways to get on the wall. That's fine. I liked our fake right here. This was really cheeky. Fake. And then teammate cycles up. We just kind of got caught off guard with this. Very good. Nice try. Because I talked about this yesterday with the player. Not all the time, but most of the time, the only times we get on the wall or get in the air, it's because the opponent or a teammate is setting us up. And that's kind of like the long-term goal with the user is self-setup air and wall play. For the most part, not always, but for the most part, the only time we're in the air on the wall is when it looks like this, right? Not always back wall, not always side wall, but it's when like it's a 50 or a boom or the opponent throws the ball away and we go up to challenge or go up to control or hit. We need to start setting them up ourselves, and it starts with the grounder. And I'll kind of draw a picture at the end of this as well for plays to look for it. Ooh, that was good. All that is a catch. And you're not like up the wall, but you're on the wall. And I like that. Because taking 50s on the wall is a very, very good habit to get into. Very, very good habit. At least in like champ and below. As you can see, the ball rolls to safety. It's either going to kill, go above you, or go out. Versus like if you take a 50 right here, could go behind you, which then sets up a pass. Taking 50s on the wall, that's why I'll draw the picture right now for you. Play goal line, save, hit a grounder up the wall, transition up the wall. Like that's like one of the easiest ways to start wall transitions. Back post, goal line, hit, save, through boost, up the wall. I mean, it's a repeat concept here, but it is so easy to practice. Another long-term thing is getting more POVs that look like this when we're able to cycle up as a first. We always like hold pressure like this. We're always behind the ball, which is not bad, but we never like consider the option like maybe we play forward a little bit right here. Stay upfield, look for a demo, look for an outlet, or stay right here. We see that, look for this demo on that player, or maybe we try to like barrel ourselves in there and try to 50 it, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's always, don't do that by the way. It's always make our play, look for our demo, get back. It's never cut or lurk, right? No value in front of the ball. So we're going to optimize what we do behind the ball with that shadow defense play with rounders up the wall, cuts up the wall, long-term air wall, hopefully more ball control, more mechanics, dedicated mechanics, and then in front of the ball stuff. And it's just to give an example of teammate. It's finding moments like this. This is not what this replay is about, but just to give you an example. Right? They're playing off the ball. Not for a demo, not for boost, but for the ball. They're positioning. And then it's just a little touch. And you see how that complicates the play so much for the opponents? All it was a little touch. And again, don't think too hard on this, but it's okay. We made our play, and you're just like, oh, get back, get back. You wanted to play that. You chose not to. That's fine. But then it's get back, get back. And it's like, why couldn't have you played that outlet? I know teammate cycling. It makes more sense to play goal line. I get that for all the game sense warriors. I get that. But in general, we don't really look for these off-ball plays. We don't consider it. This was a good play. See how he tried to play that again? It's just getting more comfortable. It's like you're not changing rotations. You're simply just looking for those options a bit more. I know it's future stuff, just with how I work player development. I just know. The reason we don't do it, we're a third man, and I get that. So for now, like short term, what I would focus on is that shadow. That shadow into 50. Shadow into let it all roll all the way back. Shadow into grounder up the wall. Shadow into cut up the wall. Shadow into catch. Right? Like all these different options. Work on this just grounder up the wall from a goal line save kind of technique. You could cut up the wall. Hit grounders up the corner. Overall, just kind of, it's the easiest way to get on the wall. It just is. There's other ways, but for this level, easiest way is grounders up the wall. Very easy concept. And that's where I'd leave it.